Are you an administrator, teacher, or 504 coordinator for your school? Then you've come to the right place. If you've done a 504 meeting before, then you know there's a ton of paperwork involved, along with a lot of policies and provisions that your school's got to follow. Take a deep breath. I'm going to walk you through it. That's why inside this video, I'm going to show you the 4 steps for success so you know how to write 504 plans and, more importantly, how to run the best 504 meeting to make your job so much easier. Hey, what's up? I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate and school psychologist to make IEPs and 504 plans so much easier. If you're new here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button to get more videos like this in our inbox, and check us out on Instagram at RiseEdAdvocacy. Before we talk about your 4 steps to success, we first need to talk about what is a 504 plan, and more importantly, what is it designed to do? Let me break it down. So in a nutshell, your 504 meeting must offer that student a free, appropriate public education, also known as FAPE. Now, if this acronym sounds familiar, it is because it is. And a 504 plan is not the same thing as an IEP, but to be clear, both 504s and IEPs have to do with FAPE. So what am I saying? It's a civil rights protection under Section 504. So your meeting, the whole focus is going to be on access, not about specially designed instruction, which is covered through an IEP. So the goal of your 504 meetings are simple. 1, identify the barriers. 2, remove those barriers, giving access to accommodations, services, or adjustments. 3, put that plan into writing, and more importantly, 4, notify all the educational providers that are involved in that student about that plan so that you can implement the 504 plan with fidelity. You can do this. I'm going to show you how. Take a deep breath and keep watching this video until the very end, where I'm going to give you all of my tools and resources so you can rock your next 504 meeting. So now you know what is a 504 plan and the purpose and function of a meeting. Let's dive into who needs to be at your meeting. What am I saying? So when it comes to Section 504, unlike an IEP, there are broader descriptions of who needs to be on the committee at your meeting. So I'm going to tell you best practices who I suggest as a special education advocate should be at your 504 meetings. Number 1, parents. Now, here's the truth. Pro tip. Federal law actually doesn't require schools to invite parents to every 504 meeting. However, best practice is that you're going to involve them in every aspect of 504 development, and it makes it easier because you are required to provide those parents with notice, written notification of changes, and copies so that your students' parents can get access to their educational record. So what am I saying? I'm saying it's definitely best practice to invite parents to every 504. 2, someone knowledgeable about that student. So that could be a teacher, it could be a counselor, it could be a provider, it also could be the parent, but it needs to be someone who is knowledgeable and familiar with that student. 3, someone who's able to assess or find value in the meaning of data. What am I talking about? Someone like me, the school psychologist, a school counselor, a provider of some sort, someone who's able to interpret the information that we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video and find meaning or find value in how the student is performing right now. 4, someone knowledgeable about placement options. More than likely, this is going to be an administrator, but here's the thing. It could also be like someone like me, the school psychologist. It could be someone from the district. It could be a 504 coordinator. All these different people could easily be someone who's able to make placement decisions and talk about the offerings and supports and services and accommodations that that student can get at the 504 meeting. So in a nutshell, all the members on your committee must determine if they have enough information in order to talk about options for your student's 504 meeting. One of the biggest challenges that I see as a special education advocate is that 504 teams get confused when it comes to procedural safeguards, because more than likely you probably haven't had real 504 training. And that's exactly why I want you to check out this video on procedural safeguards. It's meant for parents, but honestly, the video is meant for anybody at the 504 table that spells out all the procedural safeguards so you understand how to navigate Section 504 for your team. Grab that link in the description box below. So now you know what a 504 is and who's supposed to be there, best practices. Let's dive into how you're going to start your 504 meeting. So the first thing you want to do is introductions. Why do I say this? Because I've been to so many 504 meetings and they're like, okay, let's get started. And half the time the parents or even the other teachers on the team are like, who is that person over there? So you always want to open the meeting introducing everybody. It starts things up warmly and it makes it easier. And if you forget someone's name, you're going to remember it because everyone's going to talk about introductions. The next thing you want to do is inform parents of their 504 rights. Why do I bring this up? Because federal law, pro tip, does not require you to give them their procedural safeguards like a paper copy. However, it is best practices to tell them about their procedural safeguards. And a lot of districts, depending on your state or where you are practicing in your school, they're gonna have a copy anyway. So you want to inform parents because you are required to tell them about their procedural safeguards. Remember, check out that link that I talked about earlier so that you can watch the video to learn every single safeguard because there are actually a ton of them. Next, you're going to clarify the type of meeting it is. What am I saying? I'm saying that your 504 meeting could be an initial 504, it could be a review, it could be a re-evaluation. So you need to clarify with every member on the team what type of meeting it is so that you're understanding the function or why you are convening the meeting. Remember, from here on out, you're going to be working on identifying those barriers, then removing them by providing needed accommodations, services, or adjustments in order for that child to level the playing field, meaning that they can get access and equity to their education. Now it's time to dig into those 4 steps so that you can have success with your next 504 meeting. So step 1. Data collection. Why is this so important? Because what happens in terms of the data you're going to look at, also known as present levels, and yes, that's very similar to special education or an IEP, that's going to drive the data to determine if that student is going to qualify for a 504, what services they need, what type of accommodations, because there are 4 subtypes they would need, and what academic adjustments on the services plan you want to offer the student that's going to be appropriate to meet FAPE. What type of data am I talking about that you want to gather? The first thing you want to think about is medical documentation. Now, a word about this because this gets so confusing. Federal law does not require for students to have a diagnosis in order to be evaluated under Section 504, or more importantly, to qualify for a 504. You need to check your state provisions and policies, but the federal law is very clear. A student can either have a diagnosis, be suspected of having a diagnosis, or be regarding of having a disability, meaning that diagnosis is not required. What other data do you want to gather before the meeting? Teacher observations, grades, transcripts, checking out their discipline history, looking at suspensions, looking at office referrals, if they are tardy or truant or missing school. All of that information is super important, as well as reaching out to the parent in advance of the meeting and asking for their input and asking if they have information for your team to review and consider at the 504 meeting. Speaking of data, I know it's such a challenge to write 504 plans, and that's exactly why I created something called the Meeting Toolkit. Make sure to grab it in the link in the description box below. So what's really cool about the digital guide, it works for both IEPs and 504s. It lays out and clarifies the 4 subtypes of accommodations. It compares accommodations versus modifications. It talks about FAPE. It talks about all these acronyms when it comes to IEPs. I bring it to every single meeting, and it makes it so much easier because instead of talking about something, you can spell it out and show it to the rest of your team. Make sure to grab that link in the description box below. Once that data is reviewed, then we're going to get into step 2, talking about qualification for a 504 plan. Here is where many teams get confused, because when they're talking about eligibility, they get confused between that and an IEP. So in a nutshell, a student is going to qualify for a 504 plan if they have a medical or a physical impairment or are regarded of having an impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activity. Notice academics is not in there, and the student doesn't need to be failing or below grade level in order to be assessed or evaluated in order to determine qualification. I've got a guide that spells out the difference between an IEP and a 504 side by side when it comes to eligibility criteria. It's what I use as a special education advocate, and I used all the time as a school psych too. Grab it in the link in the description box below. So now that you know your student is going to qualify for a 504 plan, this moves us into the heart of the meeting. Step 3, how to write the 504 plan. So let's be clear. You'll want to pick accommodations and academic adjustments that are clear, specific, and are going to remove those barriers that we've been talking about. You're going to want to avoid vague language that is not specific and relevant when it comes to accommodations. What am I saying? You want to avoid accommodations that talk about as needed, based on teacher discretion, or doesn't clarify where or when those accommodations are going to take place. If your 504 plan is not clear, it's just not gonna stick. And that's exactly why I want you to check out my video that specifically talks about accommodations and modifications and gets into detail when it comes to those 4 subtypes, because I can't tell you how many 504 meetings I've sat in where teams are like, it's an accommodation, it's a modification, and everyone gets confused. So let's be clear and make your 504 meeting so much easier. Grab that link in the description box below. And finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Step 4. What do you do if your 504 plan is not working? So the most important thing I want you to remember in this video is you don't want to go back and wait and not meet. The best thing that you can do is convene a new 504. Why? Because otherwise your parents are going to be reaching out and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm concerned, or the teachers are calling or emailing you, and worse off, you could get to a situation where there is a manifestation based on the student's disability, meaning you're going to have an MDR meeting. So that's exactly why you want to convene a new 504 plan or make adjustments or even do a new 504 evaluation. So all of this in a nutshell points to one thing. More than likely, you want additional 504 support. And that's exactly why I created something called the Ultimate 504 Guide. Inside my digital guide, it's almost 40 pages in length. It goes through everything when it comes to discipline and Section 504, how to convene a meeting, the different types of reevaluations, how to understand the nuances in the different varieties of 504, eligibility criteria, how to run your meeting. Oh my goodness. It even talks about how to support students when they move on to college and the difference between high school and a college accommodations. So make sure to grab it in the link in the description box below so that you can rock your next 504 and have such a better experience. at your school. So now you know how to run a 504 meeting step by step, and you've got those 4 tips when it comes to success for your next 504 meeting. Do you have a question? Do you want me to talk about something more? Make sure to type it in the link in the description box below. Make sure to like and subscribe to get more videos like this in your inbox, and check us out on Instagram at Rise Ed Advocacy. Grab all those links below and the toolkits and the information so that you feel like you can have a better time and experience at the 504 table. I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate and school psych. I can't wait to see you for our next video.